Hey everybody, welcome to JLB Sports TV. I'm Justin Block, and today Liverpool were defeated 1-0 at Craven Cottage by Fulham in a game in which Liverpool certainly deserved more than the loss, and they certainly deserved a result at that. Now, going into the game, there were a couple big headlines. First, we all know that Lucas is now out for the season with an ACL injury, so Jay Spearing took his place directly in the side. We also saw the inclusion of Andy Carroll starting right up front with Luis Suarez, and in my opinion, it's very important for those two to be able to work together. It's vital for Liverpool in the future, and for this season, for them to be able to coexist. Andy Carroll is frankly, he's too expensive and too important of a player and has too much potential for him not to be able to blend with Luis Suarez well. And I noticed on Twitter the other big headline was the exclusion of Maxi from the side. There's no Maxi today, even though he's been on a little goal-scoring hot streak. Everybody wanted Maxi on the side. Me personally, I think we all know my opinions on Maxi. I've hated on him previously in the past, but you know, the guy keeps scoring and proving me wrong. And if he had been in the side, you know, I would have been fine with it, but I'm also very fine with him not being in the side. In fact, Maxi wasn't even preferred on the substitutes bench today. Dirk Kuyt and Stuart Downing came on when goals were vital. But in the first half, we saw a very open game, and frankly, the entire game was open. Both teams were really going for it. Fulham, this is a side that's hovering right above the relegation zone, and Liverpool, who were looking to move into 5th place today. And these cold away December, January, February games against bottom of the league sides are just matches that Liverpool have got to win. Frankly, these are the kinds of matches that really make up your season. You have got to be able to finish and get full points against these bottom of the league, relegation kinds of sides, especially away in the cold. These kinds of stalemate games is what did Liverpool in a couple seasons ago when they were challenging for the title against United. They didn't win the games in January in the cold against bottom sides that they needed to, and they finished in second. And if Liverpool doesn't capitalize on these kinds of games, which should be a piece of cake for them, then they're not going to be sitting in 4th position by the time the season's end, and that's where we want Liverpool. But as for the game itself, like I said, it was a very open game. There were tons of chances in the first half. Andy Carroll should have done better on a couple of chances. He sort of slipped and connected on one, shot it right at the goalkeeper. And on the other one, Charlie Adam did very well to pick Luis Suarez out on the sideline. Suarez brought it to the touchline, pulled it back for Carroll, and Carroll just frankly whiffed on the ball. The big man just cannot connect. We even saw Jordan Henderson go off the woodwork, and this first half of the season has kind of been a tale of the woodwork for Liverpool. If you count Stuart Downing's effort, which also went off the woodwork, sort of at the latter part of the game, that's 8 players who have gone off the woodwork 12 times for Liverpool, which leads the Premier League by far, very far. In the second half, Luis Suarez also scored a goal, which was disallowed. Jose Enrique kind of flicked the ball into the box for Suarez, who had a couple beautiful touches and eventually finished in the back of the net, but he was declared offside, which just was not the right call at all. If you look at these images now, look at these images that I put up on the screen. He was clearly onside. It was a peach of a goal. And guaranteed, if that goal is allowed, Liverpool go on to win the game. Just very, very frustrating. And on the Fulham side, we saw just a barrage of long shots at goal. And we even saw, I think Dembele was the player for Fulham. He was in on goal. He tried to round Reina, or he should have tried to round Reina. Instead, he shot it right at Reina. And there was good goalkeeping there from Pepe. So Liverpool have been unlucky, but also they have not been taking their chances. It's kind of been weird because Liverpool, they're playing well in defense, they're not conceding goals, and for so long, especially under the Rafa Benitez years, or his latter years before he was sacked, and even with Hodgson in the beginning of last year, we saw all of these teams that would hold possession, not get service to Torres, and just not, frankly, produce enough chances on goal. Well, Liverpool is creating tons of chances on goal. They're creating enough chances that they should be winning the majority of the games, but frankly, that's not been the case. They aren't finishing. They're hitting the woodwork, and it's really troublesome to me. But minutes before the Fulham goal, Glenn Johnson had allowed U.S. striker Clint Dempsey to sort of turn in on his right foot. He left Glenn Johnson tying his own shoelaces in the dirt. Dempsey had one go off the woodwork, and then only minutes later, Danny Murphy pulled the same exact move from almost the same exact spot on Glenn Johnson. I don't know why Glenn Johnson are allowing these right-footed strikers to strike onto their favored right foot. Danny Murphy shot fired, and then Reina had his epic howler of a spill. And Clint Dempsey, inches away from goal, couldn't miss there, pounded into the upper net. 1-0 Fulham, and from then on, Fulham were through. Aside from the result, Liverpool are also going to have to live with the fact that Jay Spearing had a straight red card. He's actually going to be suspended for the next match because there was a straight red. There weren't 2 yellows. It was just a straight red on a challenge that, frankly, I didn't think it was red. He actually won the ball, but he followed through with his studs up, and that warrants red in today's game. I know officials I've been clamping down on that, and people are saying, well, he won the ball, that should be that. Well, in today's game, it's no longer that's that. You have to have a clean follow-through too. Spearing had his studs up. I still do think it was very harsh. And yes, even though Spearing did, like I said, he did win the ball, he followed through with the studs up, and I also have seen these images make the rounds around Twitter. It appeared Spearing with the stud caught the ankle of the Fulham player, and for a studs up challenge like that's seen in that picture, and it's not conclusive, but when you look at that, that's the kind of challenge that warrants a straight red. I think the announcers were saying it wasn't unlike the red that Jack Rodwell received against Liverpool earlier in the year. So I understand why Spearing was red carded. I still think it's a bit harsh, and I don't know what Liverpool is going to do now, because that was the only defensive midfielder Liverpool has left. I suppose next week Kenny Dalglish will go in a 5 in midfield, have Henderson in the center with Adam, and sort of go for a 4-5-1 to try to make up for the cover lost by Spearing, who I think was playing a decent game. In the first half, he was kind of roughed up a bit, but I think I counted a handful of balls. He helped steal away from the defense. He had a couple interceptions, didn't win all his duels. He's not the most talented passer, but I think for what he needed to do, he did it decently well. He's no Lucas. Lucas is one of the best defensive midfielders in the English game, but I think Spearing did a serviceable job up until his red card. I do want to mention that I think the referee was not good. Earlier in the game, Greg Bellamy got yellow carded for basically standing there and taking a thrashing from Clint Dempsey. Bellamy had a challenge on Clint Dempsey. It was just a normal challenge, and Clint Dempsey felt the need to come up and put his face directly onto Bellamy's face. I thought they were going to kiss for a moment, and Bellamy was just like holding his hands up like, why? This guy's just yelling at me. I'm not doing anything. For some reason, Bellamy got a yellow card. Dempsey could have gotten a straight red. I've seen offenses like that I've seen players do much less, getting in a player's face and get red carded. We all remember Ryan Babel a couple of years ago in the Europa League, got in a player's face, touched him, and he got a straight red. Bellamy was about to get kissed by Dempsey, so Dempsey could have easily had a straight red depending on how the ref was feeling, but it was pretty obvious that this was a Fulham home game. So that's all for today for JLB Sports TV. I'm Justin Block. Before I leave, I just want to make a quick comment on Andy Carroll. I do think he put in a decent shift today. He's certainly working very hard at the striking position. He's getting in good positions. He's running around, so you can't take away that from him. You can definitely say he's working hard on the pitch, but he's not finishing his chances. And honestly, that's what a striker is all about, finishing your chances. But I do want to commend him for his hard work on shift today. So before I go, tell me what you think Liverpool will do next week. They're short of cover in midfield. Jay Spearing is out for the next game. They don't really have a bona fide defensive midfielder now. So who do you think Liverpool will put in, or what do you think Liverpool will do tactically, formation-wise, to make up for Spearing's loss? YNWA, carrying on to the next match. That's all I can say. Got to win these tough winter games.